another 2 months, another devlog. Hello everyone, this is the 6th devlog about my game World Layers, and I'm happy to announce that we finally started the second layer, the Occult. First, in this video I'm going to talk about the Occult as a layer, what the trees are, because you can see that they're glowing, and the particles that you see here. So let's start. First, I would like to mention that you can wishlist my game, World Layers. It's on Steam, and the description pretty much explains what the game is about. Also, all the art in the Steam page is made by hand, by me, so I hope you like it. So, let's start with the video. First, as you can see here, this is the Occult. There are many things, and I'm going to explain every one of them. First, why the layer is black. That is because the layer is actually the inverted, not the inverted colors, but white and gray, except for the trees, of course, and the lamps. I'll explain that in a second, why is that, but basically the whole layer is supposed to be black and white, that's why. So the Occult layer is the second layer, and it usually contains ghosts and lesser demons. The ghosts could be banshees, maybe poltergeists, and other types of ghosts that you can search up on the internet. So the second thing I'm going to talk about are the trees. Well, the trees are a strange story. Since this layer is supposed to be black and white, the trees and the lamps are the only exception. As you can see here, these black and white sprouts with rainbow leaves are actually the saplings of the big trees. At first, they are the saplings that have rainbow leaves, and the way they form is actually pretty simple. When a ghost starts fading away, it usually settles on the ground and it waits for its disappearance. And that's when these sprouts start growing. They feed off the fading soul to form a tree that later starts collecting the lesser souls in the air, and depending on the zone, because the layer is separated in separate zones, it can change its color. At first they are rainbow, the leaves, but then they can be yellow, green, blue or red. And of course there are exceptions where purple and maybe white are options as well. As the tree grows, you can see that the trunks are a little grayish and not exactly black. The colors depend on what souls they get. For example, blue are human souls, yellow are plant souls, red are animal souls and mostly carnivores, and green souls are plant-eating animals, for example deer and such. So that's what you need to create a soul tree, to grow a soul tree in certain color. The lamps, on the other hand, basically contain a few leaves out of these trees and are amplified by adding red, green, blue or yellow souls as a burning fuel in these boxes right here. next to my character. The next thing I'm going to talk about are actually these particles. For me, as a game dev, they are just particles, but story-wise, they're actually the souls. You can see that some are brighter, while others are more pale. Also, in this zone there are only yellow and blue souls, so this is where people and plants have died. But you can see that there's also a green lamp and a red lamp, so they feed off red and green souls. But since there aren't that much animals in this zone, animal souls I mean, there aren't as much different colors except for yellow and green. In this zone, however, in which I'm going to, here only human souls have faded. So this in the overworld is supposed to be a graveyard where people are being buried under the ground. The previous zone was a city, because there are plants in the cities but not as much, and people also have died there, so it's reasonable. For now there aren't green and red zones, because that will mean it's a forest, and since I'm still far from ready with this layer, there aren't such places. For example, the zones is halfway done, so that's why. And that's pretty much for the video. I wanted to show you the progress I've made over these last 2 months. I know it's not much, and I'm good for that. I don't work as much on the game because there are other things I'm focused on right now, and university is one of these things. But I hope you liked the small overview that I talked about today, and this is pretty much the preview of the layer for now. I wanted to make it feel magical, so that's why I chose to add glowing elements like the outline for the trees, the tree leaves, the bushes. But that was for the devlog. I hope you liked it. If you want to support me, you can wishlist my game on Steam or Occult Layers. There still aren't photos of this layer because it's far from done, but in the future I'm going to add them. So I hope you liked it. You can subscribe, like the video, comment what my next tutorial should be, and see you in the next one.